on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube.
Evening.
Our music is also available on iTunes and
87.9.
Deezer.
Welcome to The Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at diwang makabayan sa mga salita at pahina. Sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino, halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Ito ang Sari-Sari, tuwing Miyerkules, 11 ng umaga, dito sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Iwasan ang pagkakaroon at pagkalat ng sakit na COVID-19. Palagiang maghugas ng kamay. I-check ang temperatura para sa lagnat. Umiwas sa matataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang mukha kapag hindi pa nakakapaghugas ng mga kamay. Iwasan muna ang pagyakap, beso-beso o paghalik sa ngayon. Maging maingat, maging ligtas.
Basta't laging handa at sama-sama, kaya natin to. Hatid sa inyo ng PCOO, DOH, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Jesuit Music Ministry, music that uplifts the soul. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. We're also on iTunes and Deezer. Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube.
Do you have concerns or problems about the school? Pag may dilema, huwag mag-alala. Locate our boxes around campus and simply fill out the forms in the stations. Drop them in the box and boom, you're done. You can also fill out our forms online. This is a service brought to you by Your Sanggu. Pag may problema, huwag mag-alala.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
W Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, kawal ni Ignacio. Sugo, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong.
who's a little bit fruity from 2BS Psychology, Jhio, Camama, and welcome back to another year of meaningful conversations with our beloved organizations right here at Kwentuhang MVP. We are coming to you loud and live from our homes via the Facebook pages of radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM, Ateneo de Manila University, and of course, the Council of Organizations of the Ateneo Manila. You can also stream us by the Radyo Katipunan's YouTube channel at radyo-katipunan FM. We are also coming in via audio streams at any Shoutcast online radio station around the world. So just search for Radyo Katipunan. We are also transmitting via the 87.9 frequency. So tune in if you're within the 2-kilometer radius of the Ateneo de Manila campus. Gabi naman yung haba ng spiel ko na yun. And sa haba ng panahon na to, and we are here in the second year of Kwentuhang MVP. For a year now, KMVP has been an avenue for the organizations to join in the discourse about relevant topics, to spread their advocacies and missions, and overall contribute to the lively and vibrant and super duper energetic org culture here in the Ateneo de Manila University. And speaking of orgs and org culture wouldn't be where it is now without the annual tradition of RecWeek. So ano nga ba ang RecWeek or Recruitment Week? At ano nangyayari dito? So RecWeek is currently releasing a series of PubMats and videos highlighting the different clusters and what they do. So ano mga ginagawa ng mga orgs natin. And game shows and game night days are already announced as well. So sumali na kayo. And all of these can be found on the RecWeek's official social media accounts at Koa RecWeek. So everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And actual RecWeek, guys, will happen on September 6 to 18. So I cannot wait for all these happenings. And speaking of RecWeek, I actually want to share kung ano ba nangyari sa RecWeek ko. So something short lang and napaka-memorable nito. And actually, originally, I was supposed to join 3 orgs lang for my college career or college life. Pero nakita ko yung COA-M website noon and yung RecWeek website, sabi ko talaga, oh my gosh, napasali pa ako ng 3 more organizations. So I had 6 orgs in my freshie year. So napakarami naman nun. Pero okay na okay lang yan. And I actually have some tips, especially sa mga dear freshies listening in now and who are still deciding for orgs to join. Ang pinaka-tip ko lang dyan is explore. Hayaan nyo yung mag-explore kayo ng mga orgs, mga rami-rami na orgs. 56 organizations are joining us today with the clusters and along with Sanggunian, the Confederation of Publications. So please explore the Koa RecWeek webpage just to find out and limit yourselves din mga freshies. Baka mamaya sumali kayo ng 15 orgs. Alamin din ang time schedule natin. And actually, sa marami-rami ko nang sinabi, I'll let you see what RecWeek has in store for you. Here is this year's lip sync video with all the participating organizations jamming to our favorite Dua Lipa's Levitating.
You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
Napaka-energetic naman ng video na yun. Napapagiling at napapaindak naman ako doon. And speaking of indak and papagiling, actually, I have some very special guests for us today. And actually, everyone, I'd want you to give a warm welcome to my bosses and our guests for today, Anton, Bacani, and Kristine Lim. RecWeek Project has Nina Sonandres, the Vice President for Special Projects of COA-M. Hi, Kristine, Bax, and Nina.
Hi, Jhio.
Hello.
Hi, Jhio.
Yeah, hello. Baka pwede nyo kami bigyan ng introductions dyan. Maybe we can start with Nina, our VP for Special Projects.
Yeah, sure. So, hi, everyone. I am Nina Sanandres. I am currently the Vice President for Special Projects of COAM.
Yes, and maybe Bax can follow up. Bax, sino ka ba?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Bax. You can call me Bax. I'm actually a fourth-year student taking BS Management Engineering, and I'm one half of the project heads for RecWeek 2021.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bax and Kristine. Sino ka ba?
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Kristine. I'm from 3BS Comtech, and I'm the other half of this year's RecWeek project heads.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for your wonderful and energetic introduction. And speaking of energy, kamusta naman ang energy nyo ngayon na nangyayari na at napapalapit na ang Rec Week na inaasahan ng all of the Ateneo students? Kamusta naman ang energies nyo?
Of course, we're so excited. We're
excited.
Excited. So, kamusta naman ang excitement nyo? Napakataas ba na nanginginig na ang inyong mga kamay? Or mga saktong, oh, I'm so excited lang?
I think we're shaking.
Shaking and excitement, no?
Yes.
Nanginginig. And speaking of chills and, nervousness, kamusta naman ang ating mga academics? So I've heard you're all upperclassmen, third year and fourth year. Kamusta naman ang mga first week of the school year nyo?
Not exciting. I think that one. For sure.
Not exciting, no? Very new ang semestral schedule natin. So we're really trying to figure it out, right? And speaking of, mga Rec Week preparations, I wanted to ask siguro from last year, especially in the online setting, I just wanted to ask siguro a little bit of information. Kamusta naman yung Rec Week last year and what did you learn from that?
Yeah, I can take this one.
Papaisip talaga sila.
Yeah.
Reflection, discernment,
Yeah, okay,
St. Ignatius.
Yeah, so actually, Rec Week last year, I was actually part of the core team last year as well. And bouncing off of last year, I think last year was really the kind of test run, not really a test run, but it was during a time, Rec Week last year started during a time when we were all still new to the online setting and platform. So everyone was really in this kind of big transition phase. And Rec Week was actually one of the first of its kind, one of the first big projects of the year that was online. Of course, besides ORSEM. So I think moving on to this year, last year kind of already set the pace for how projects would go for rest of the year. And we're also bouncing off of that year's worth of experience that we've already had from last year's Rec Week. But yeah, what about you guys?
Yes,
for me naman. Okay, for me last year, I was the partnerships deputy of Rec Week. So that was my first time really being part of Rec Week. That's my first time also being part of partnerships. Super good experience naman. And then it's good na this year I was given the opportunity to become project head. At least the things that I experienced from last year, I was able to use it as a form of wisdom to my core team. So far, so good naman. I'm trying to give this very friendly atmosphere with our core team. And I'm pretty sure they feel it naman. How about you, partner?
So for me, actually, I wasn't part of the core team last year. So this is my first time being part of Rec Week. So I actually just learned about like what was happening inside of the core team from, of course, Nina and Bax and the rest of the other core team who were actually part of the core team last year. So I guess from what I've heard from them, it made me see how Rec Week actually goes from the internal aspect of it. And from there, I think they really guided me with how we should go about with this year's Rec Week. Most especially since there I had no experience of Rec Week from last year. So I think it was really, big thank you to Bax and Nina for really guiding me through this experience as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. And speaking of varying experiences with someone who hasn't experienced Rec Week from last year and someone who has experienced Rec Week last year, what did you take note of these experiences and how did you channel them or manifest them to the Rec Week preparations for this year?
Yeah, so I think like we mentioned, going into this year, it was also really good that the three of us, our dynamic worked pretty well because we also come from different org contexts. So we're not just coming from our experiences with Rec Week last year, but also our own experiences with how Rec Week went from the org's perspective. So I think going into this year, we also took a lot of that into consideration, and also, of course, a lot of the feedback from the evals as well that we got from last year. It kind of helped us reevaluate how this year's Rec Week would go and kind of go into a more data-driven approach with what we're doing.
Yeah, I think to add to what Nina said, London, it's good that we actually started working on the planning of the project as early as, kailan ba yun? February? March?
May.
May pala! Sobrang aga pa naisip ko. But then as early as that,
March.
kasi we knew na parang it will take a lot of time talaga for the planning phase. So we really started as early as that. And I think so far so good then. That's good. Then we started talaga. We have already anticipated some of the delays then, which actually helped. At least may buffer time kami. And yeah, even the dynamic. I love the dynamic between the three of us.
Yes, and I think like what Mac said, we started really early and we started the planning with actually taking into consideration what happened from last year's Rec Week also. So from there, we were able to level off, and like what Nina said, we reevaluated how we can go about this year's Rec Week just so we have a smoother flow. And I think coming from having Rec Week online already, we already kind of have a gist of how actually Rec Week goes and how we can make it better and make it work again for this year.
Oh my God, I really love how we took our experiences and really brought them into this year's Rec Week preparation. And speaking of house naman, parang I wanna go to the whys. So ano ba yung mga why or mga experiences nyo in bringing to this Rec Week preparation, and why you wanted to push through for this year talaga, na parang gusto namin kung 10 out of 10 yung last year, 10 out of mali ang numbers natin. 100 out of 10 for this year.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day naman, for the orgs, we're all part of orgs, and we all kind of come from that background of being part of organizations as well, like what we mentioned earlier. And really, it's to when you're part of an organization, of course, you would know this as a maraming org. When you're part of an org, there's really a lot of experiences that you get from there, a lot of wonderful people that you meet. It really becomes a home for you during your stay. And this is why we really want to help also people who are not part of orgs yet, or are looking to be part of orgs. We want to be able to give them really just the best Rec Week experience that they can have, so that they're able to really find their place in our org community.
Yeah, speaking for my experience then, I think as a freshie before, I was too scared to join orgs no Rec Week. But I was so overwhelmed with the number of available orgs that you can register. And then may bayad pa siya back then. So, syempre, yung ipon mo talaga, kailangan mo talaga pag-isipan which orgs you're really gonna go for, kasi you're gonna spend a lot talaga. And I'm so happy that come sophomore year, I really branched out and joined a lot of orgs. And now, as a senior, I think this is my way of giving back na rin, especially to COA, diba? As being their project head. And hopefully naman the freshies, the transferees, and other upperclassmen who wish to still be org active this school year. So that I want them to feel the same thing that I felt when I was a freshie, when I was a sophomore. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me also, back in my first year when we had Rec Week on site, I was overwhelmed with the number of orgs in Red Brick Road that time. And although I had the orgs that I actually wanted to join already, I was confused on like what other orgs I wanted to join. But I actually stick to what I already wanted. And I think for me, throughout my 3 years in Ateneo, my orgs have been my safe place, and it really allowed me to step out of my comfort zone as well as feel at home. And it was like an avenue for me to release stress in a way. Like, it's not just pure ACADS. I had my org family to go to. And I think we really want to give the freshies the opportunity to have orgs, because like what we also want to point out, that org is really a big part of one's journey in Ateneo. Like, it's really a big part of one's life, since it really contributes to your growth in Ateneo and your experience.
Thank you so much for that, Gabi naman. Medyo nakaka-touch, pero okay lang yun. Thank you so much. And hindi ko lang nalaman na kayo pala yung mga super duper upperclassmen ko, so mga kuya at kuya at ate pala kayo.
Aray.
Super
Pero
duper.
speaking of themes of age and everything, gusto ko lang kayo medyo sigurong chikahin. Gusto ko malaman mga insider information sa mga viewers natin today. We want to find out how did RecWeek's theme come to be and all of the RecWeek preparations. So I wanted to ask lang siguro, can you share with us how exactly was the theme Sonder formed? Ay, yes.
Yeah, actually, so it was very interesting kasi usually every year we have we have the different committees as well early on, especially the committee heads. And for Rec Week, who conceptualizes the theme is usually the creatives committee head. So for us, props to Mr. Ralph and Nicole, ayan, our wonderful creatives head. So usually it starts there within their committee. I think the approach that they took this year, because it's creatives, there's no one way to do it. But the approach that they did this year is early into the year, I think around June, they did design sprints with their committee. So it was a lot of brainstorming, going through different themes. But of course, outside of the just looking at the aesthetic of it, we really wanted to create a story out of the theme of Rec Week this year. So at the end of it, we ended up with four probable themes for Rec Week, which we presented to the core team. But besides that, also, of course, we didn't want the core team to be the main deciding factor for this because at the end of the day, it's for the organizations. So when we had our gore pitch, as we call it, which is when we present the ideas for Rec Week to the different representatives of organizations, we also presented the theme ideas that we had there. And at the end of it, they were the ones who kind of picked the theme eventually.
Yeah. Max, baka may gusto ko i-share. Kristine.
Actually, ano ba added info? I like Sonder. The first time I
love
Sonder. The first time they presented it, sabi ko agad, okay, that could be our theme, but it's not up to us. It's up to our org reps and to our core teams. So, sige. And then, hopefully, same naman. May same yung wavelength ng mga representatives and the core team, which is super good.
Actually.
Yeah, same with Vox. Like when they presented the themes, Sonder was the theme that really caught my attention. As in, personally, I really wanted it to become this year's Rec Week theme because not just of the design itself, it's really also the message that Sonder gives out to its audience. So it really caught our attention. Like I believe the three of us thought na, wow, Sonder is really good and we really wanted it. So we were really happy when the core team and the gore liked Sonder and chose Sonder to be this year's Rec Week theme.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, mga ate at kuya, again. Pero speaking of which, it was really a change coming from last year's theme, no? Coalesce. Can you help me pronounce it? Coalesce?
Coalesce.
It was a really big change coming from that, no? It was the theme was Hotel and Budapest, am I right? Tama po ba ako dito? Baka masabihin
it was Hotel Coalesce last year.
It was really a big change, parang from the theme before. So how did you feel naman with the theme change? Ano yung mga nararamdaman na? Parang ano yung mga feelings natin doon? Was it really a big change for us or really from the course of the years of thinking of the preparations? It was a normal thing for having this kind of change.
I think yes. Yeah, I think every day. Oo nga, napaisip ako ng slide. Yeah, actually, because, okay, for context, because I was the creatives head from last year. So, Coalesce actually came from our team. And usually, the process naman kasi for the Rec Week theme is that it's usually based on, of course, the context of the year. And that's also something that we consider. So, for last year, Hotel Coalesce, it was really kind of presenting the organizations as like, a hotel, like a place where you stay at during your college journey. You check in and eventually you check out, something like that. And then for this year, Sonder naman, it was more on kind of highlighting the vibrant org community of Ateneo, and how we wanted to kind of pose this theme was that orgs can showcase their advocacies and of course their own stories as well behind these advocacies. So we kind of wanted like every student to know that they're the main character of their own book, and it relies on their hands to explore further through joining organizations.
Super, no? Bax or Kristine, baka may gusto pa kayong add or okay na?
I just want to say something lang din. Ngayon ko na-realize din with what Nina said. Parang saktong-sakto siya with the online setting of this year. Kasi parang siyang Bandersnatch. If you guys watched it na, parang ganun, you're the main character. You get to decide talaga your adventure. And it's super good. It's super smart at the same time. So, wala lang. Masyado gusto ko lang share.
Yeah, for me, I think, oh, sorry, Bax, are you
Ay, okay na.
Okay. Yeah, I think like right now, given our situation we're in, we really don't know what's next for us. And I think the theme of Sonder really gives that message that you're really your own character in your book. So it really gives you it's up to you what you really want to do with your life, even with these challenges, with these uncertainties. Like you're there in your own storybook. You can create your own story, take what you want to take, do what you want to do. So I think that's really something that we love about this year's theme, because it also connects to where we are right now, like given the pandemic and all.
Grabe, napaka-mobile game naman yung choose your own story ng ating theme for today. And speaking of stories and choices, ano ba yung, as all stories have a message, ano ba yung pinaka-message ng theme ng RecWeek for today? Maybe siguro parang mas madalian ang ating mga viewers for today. Maybe you can sum it up in one sentence. Oh, napaka-module discussion board naman neto. In one sentence, can you explain the message?
I really agree with that one, Jhio.
Tama.
I think as our theme, as we mentioned in all the times that we presented our theme, Sonder kasi it means the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. So I guess this year's theme, it's just really that, like what we mentioned earlier, for every student to know that they're the main character of their stories. And each org is joining an org is kind of a story in itself waiting to unfold, and they get to choose where they go there. I think that's kind of really the whole idea behind Sonder.
Bax naman. Bax, ano
ba
ba
message ko?
One sentence message mo.
Pwede ko sabihin, I agree to what you said, Dina. Joke lang.
Pwede na rin.
I think my sentence
I like what
for the
you
message.
said about.
Yun na, that's perfect ka na agad eh. I think my message would probably be, I think, try to not be overwhelmed. I think one message would be, there may be a lot of opportunities coming their way, but always know that life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So like a storybook, depends siya, diba? Merong maikling short stories, merong mga novels naman. So it's really up to you kung anong book yung papasukan mo. And just really go with the flow and try to be at your pace as possible. Yeah.
Okay. For me, probably one sentence that would encapsulate Sonder for me would be take ownership of your role as a student as you create your own unique storybook here in Ateneo.
Right, napaka-touching naman ng mga discussion board answers nyo, ating mga kuya at ate. Pero, and speaking of stories, as all stories have chapters, thrilling parts, yung mga na story. Ano ba yung mga gimmicks and process or mga gimmicks na pinakita nyo for this year na parang gusto nyo implement? I've seen already the lip sync video is something that's new. Ano pa ba yung mga ibang gimmicks or any plans you have for this year?
I mean, before Nina says it.
Actually, I'm gonna give this to you guys.
I was gonna say nga parang a good trivia na we were super surprised when we released the lip sync video na it really, the attraction and the reach with the audience, it doubled talaga this year. So we were so happy with that. Congratulations to promos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ayan. Ako na ba mag-answer na? New gimmicks.
Wala naman kayo pinipressure. Well, definitely, especially with the lip sync video na sobrang ganda and nakaka-enjoy na kapag ka din, especially with the napakaraming gimmicks ng mga org head, mga org presidents and coordinators. Ano pa ba yung mga iba pa doon? Or if you can also touch up upon the preparations for the lip sync video also.
I think I could give one each. Meron kaming internal processes na we kind of implemented for the core team and another also sa external. Let's start off with internal muna. What we decided, kami ni Kristine and Nina before, is that we really want our core team to be very welcoming with each other. And we implemented this very healthy working environment among the team throughout the whole planning execution process. So I think that really helped with the dynamic, with also the productivity overall in the team. And it's super good. We have a lot of GCs, especially the core team and the committee heads GCs. Sobrang funny. Maraming makukulit. Sometimes you don't know talaga if it's work. Sometimes it's pure fun. But it's good that we have a balance of both. So that's a good one. External processes naman or gimmicks. I think what's good with programs, shout out to programs, is they really try to utilize what's the trend these days. Ayan si Jhio. So ngayon, di ba, parang Valorant's been a thing lately for people because you're always at home playing games na lang. Also with Call of Duty Mobile. So they tried to utilize that to actually attract more people to participate in our events, which is super good. And with Levitating, the TikTok video, it's been famous talaga. So syempre people would be parang catchy agad siya for everyone kasi, oh, I know this song. So when you watch this, watch ka talaga, papasayaw ka pa nga even while watching the lip sync video. Ako nga, I wanted to be part of the video, pero joke lang yan. How about you, Parts?
Yeah, I think one of the gimmicks that really contributed to the success of like hyping up RecWeek would also be like what Bac said, like the committees really take into account what's trending right now, like what would really attract people. Like I think one thing that I saw that the core team would usually do is if you were in their position, what would attract you to watch it, to join it, or just to really engage yourself in what RecWeek has in store for you. And I think that's one thing that really helped us gain attention and like I think spread the message that we want to spread. And I think the dynamic also of the team is really good. Like, yeah, what Bac said, it's very fun in this core team. It's really healthy. And I think one thing that really made us super close is that there's open communication between everyone. Like, we're very transparent and we update each other of everything. We ask for feedback. And that's one thing that really helped us have a smooth flow throughout the duration of RecWeek planning.
So to that nga, partner, diba, we tried to be very casual with the core team. We were trying to set with them yung bonding tonight actually. And then sabi naman ni Kristine, oh, Bax, can we make a skit? Okay. So in the GC, we had this parang conversation pa before we invited them sa core bonding. So I think that's just some of the subtle things to how we would actually be very open, very welcoming to the core team.
Personally, nakisali pa ako dun sa skit na yun.
Oh,
yes!
Pero
Jhio! Wala kasi nag-reply.
Out of nowhere. Yeah. Sasali na ako.
Yung core
tawa na ako sa kanila. Sabi nila, guys, sumali kayo doon. Pero something that I really noticed with the core team is that it really builds upon the community of COA-M. So that was something that was really something special for all of us. And maybe si Boss Nina, can add something to that.
Yeah, actually, since we're already talking about the core team, I think a huge part talaga of what's helping the core team with how they work right now is one thing we changed about the structure of the core team this year is that we onboarded the committee heads earlier than the rest of the core team. So they came in about a week or two before we had the rest of the core team. And with this, we discussed with them what we have in mind for RecWeek. But at the same time, after that, we wanted them to be able to take ownership of their respective work. So it's not just us always telling them to do this or do that, but to tell them na this is what we expect from you, and then you can make what you want out of it. And then we'll just be here to help you when you're working on it na. So of course, everything still passes by the project heads naman. But then I think that aspect of really trusting your core team also helps them kind of see the value of their work and understand the value that they have as the person working behind it. So I think that's something also that really helped the dynamic of our core team. That's why everyone works so well with each other, because they don't feel like inuutusan lang sila. They really feel like the work that they're doing has value and it belongs to them.
really, I think to emphasize again, to reiterate, it really feels like a community in the COA team. And actually, nakakarinig ako ng balita, nasa-challenge daw ang mga ages ng ating mga boss pag tinatawag ko daw silang kuya at ate. So, medyo titigilan, katuwag ko lang silang mga boss. Pero, in speaking of challenges, I wanted to ask everyone, ano ba yung mga challenges nyo for this year's RecWeek? As this is our second year in the online setting. Ano ba yung mga napasabi sa inyo na, OMG, paano natin to lalagpasan?
Okay, this is funny because we were actually talking about this before the show. We're like, what are we gonna say for challenges? We didn't rehearse, but it's not to say that we don't have challenges naman this year. I think it's also because we really tried to kind of iron everything out early on so that there wouldn't be any surprise challenges along the way. And so far, it's not to say that everything's perfect naman, but so far we haven't really encountered much challenges enough for us to call it, how are we gonna overcome this? But baka yung project heads, baka you guys have something that I'm missing here.
Nag-away kami tatlo. Joke lang.
Oo.
Nagsigawan kami sa GC.
Actually, right now we're not okay. We're just pretending.
Fake lang.
Nag-aaway po talaga sila nung rehearsal. Sabi nila, bakit kayo ganito? Pero bakit ano ba yun? Some challenges that you've had.
Kidding aside, I think, yun nga, to add lang din with Nina, I super agree with that. Now, we actually tried to mitigate the problems as early as the planning stage pa lang. And it shows talaga because we were able to actually recruit one of the best core heads and core teams talaga. Sobrang ganda nung pag-create. Shout out to everyone talaga in our RecWeek team. Super solid nila. From the start pa lang, just really presenting their initial plans. We were already amazed. Like sa GC namin, if you guys can't see it, syempre, pero in our GC, we were saying na, habang you guys were presenting, we're saying, oh, this committee is super galing ha. We didn't even think about that. Ganyan. And then other comments pa namin na, guys, we're so proud of this team talaga. Sobrang yung, parang may initiative talaga kayo and that you guys are proactive. So, I think, I can't really say anything bad about it. Super minimal lang and I think we don't have to talk about it kasi sobrang dami na nagawang maganda.
Yeah, and I think to add, one thing that I really appreciated and noticed from our core team is that they're very flexible. Like, they really easily adjust. Like, if, let's say, a small issue or a small problem would arise, they would easily attend to it, and like in a glimpse it's gone. And I think that's why we don't really have challenges, I'd say, because they're, and like what they said, they really take ownership over their roles. Like, they don't become dependent to us. Like, they just easily do their work. And like what Bak said, during the start when they presented their plans as heads, that time pa lang, like, we just gave them a very, what do you call it? Like, it was just, we just said na, present your plans during this day, tell us what you have in store for this year's RecWeek, just so also the core team would be on board. And when they presented their plans, it was very complete. Like, they really went through last year's RecWeek and they built their ideas and their plans on those. And I remember during the meeting, you're like, what can we say pa kaya? Like, we have no comments, guys. It's really good. And that's really one thing that contributed to how our core team's dynamic is and how we actually had a very smooth flow for this year's planning.
Parang diba? Parang tinry natin talaga. We planned before the presentations na, okay, our role as project heads is to be the devil's advocate.
Yes.
After the presentation, wala kami mabigay na parang pang-contradict lang talaga. So,
like,
okay,
so what are we gonna say?
You were so overwhelmed. Like, to the point na yun nga, we couldn't say anything anymore kasi they were so detailed and everything was just there. Like, very small comments were the only things that we could tell them. But otherwise, it was so good.
Hindi nasa, diba? If wala kayo masabing comment, just say, good job.
So every committee, good job, guys. Good job. Nice work.
Good job. Grabe yun. At tatay, parang ngayon na kinikilig ako lalo. Para naman kayo mga ewan. Grabe naman yun. Pero I've heard something na you started really early, May. So what was the rationale with that? Ano yung mga inisip niyo? Bakit May pa? Or why not siguro April or June?
I think Rec Week really starts early, especially before, because Rec Week used to be August, back when school starts August. Because traditionally, Rec Week talaga is a week after school starts, so that people have a week to adjust, and then right after they can start joining orgs. We usually start early just because a lot of the work of the committee also needs a lot of time, especially particularly now that we're online. One new thing that we have online that we didn't really have on site is a more comprehensive website. Na this year kasi everything will be done through the website. So like you register to the website and everything, and that takes time to be done. So we really have to start early in order to make sure that people are able to do their work efficiently, so that when it comes to a few weeks before Rec Week, no one's stressed, no one's cramming, which I think that also kind of adds to why we didn't have a lot of challenges, because we planned early. And also, to add to earlier with regards to the challenges, I think we certainly had a lot of minor challenges in each committee. Like maybe there's not enough participants for a certain activity that we have, or my problem with like the blasting and all that. But because our core team's already so good, it doesn't really become like a challenge to the project heads because they're already able to handle it by themselves. So I think that also contributes to it. And I think also starting early is something that kind of help avoid that.
Bax and Christine, would you like to add pa ba?
I have no words.
Na-sum up na ni Nina lahat ng mga sasabihin natin.
Yeah, I think like just what Nina said, parang it also anticipated delays, if ever. Like I think one thing that really helped us this year is that we anticipated delays. So it gave us leeway for every delay that could possibly happen. So if ever a delay would come up, then at least it's not really a big problem for us because we actually have time allotted if ever delay comes up. So yeah, that's why I think it was really good that we really started early. So right now, it's next week. So yeah.
Hopefully, no challenges as well next week. But we'll see.
Love it na.
Yeah, kasi what I'm getting, sobrang independent din natin ng mga core natin, no? Very, if there's a problem, sagutin na natin yan, solve it na, and then siguro let's work na lang, collaborate, no? So it's something that's really nice. And speaking of really getting to know more about the core, gusto namin kayo makilala more, kami mga viewers, and especially me as your host for today. I wanted to get to know more about you. So I would like to ask siguro, even when you were in Freshie, now that you want to join more orgs, ano ba yung mga pwede nyo ibigay ng tips, especially for the Freshies in joining organizations?
I think for me, because I started joining orgs really early. I joined COA as a freshie. I was part of Rec Week when I was a freshie. And I think the tip lang talaga that I can give is, I like, in my free time, I like scrolling to Freedom Wall, and a lot of freshies are asking, like, what's a good amount of orgs to join? That's a popular question. And really, my tip would just be, join all the orgs you want to join, especially it's easier now. You don't have to pay. But join all the orgs you want to join. But of course, because it takes time to find which org is the best fit for you, or even which orgs, if there's a lot. So I think the best tip I can give lang is, so join a lot of orgs. But also, once you realize that an org isn't the one for you, don't ghost them. You don't have to like super participate naman in everything. But also, if you have already like committed to something, and then you realize you're not able to commit to it anymore, you can just let them know, because people are they're very nice and they're very understanding. So join a lot of orgs, but once you realize that it's not the one for you, don't ghost them. Just let them know, they'll be okay with it. So yeah, how about you guys?
For me, tips for the freshies. Yeah, like what I've said kanina, I was too scared to join orgs talaga last year. I think one reason nga talaga is really the money. Sobrang ayoko gumastos. Pero ngayon, since you guys have the liberty na talaga to join for free to most orgs, I would say talaga na as early as freshman year, try to really explore na agad. I think I lost 1 year really exploring and developing my leadership skills. And hindi naman sa regret, but then I think it's better if you start early. Na parang come sophomore year, junior year, senior year, you already found your niche. Ganyan. May it be one org, maybe 2 orgs or 3 orgs. As long as you find that, I think once you graduate in Ateneo, you would say na, oh, I contributed to this organization. Ito yung legacy ko. And I think that's a good feeling. Hindi lang siya pandagdag sa resume. It's really up to your self-development. And it's super good. It's a good feeling talaga na no one can take away from you. And yeah, really collect and bakit pakinggan ba din? Collect mo na, like join a lot of orgs, understand them, and yeah, like what Nina said, super nice talaga yung mga org members, all of them.
For sure.
Kung anong org man yan, they would really accommodate you and they would really help with your development. In Kowa itself, long live Enzo Pisig. Yeah, he helped talaga with my development in Kowa. So yeah, kung nasan ka man, shout out to you.
Alam ko na
Parang napakalayo na ni Enzo.
Okay. I think for me, it's connected to what Nina and Bak said. I think I've been seeing and hearing a lot of apprehensions, most especially from freshies. And personally, when I was a freshie, like you don't really know if this org's a good fit for you or if you're actually gonna fit in. And like there, with the number of orgs that are available, it really makes it harder for us to choose which org we actually want to join. And sometimes it's really overwhelming and saying that, for example, is it okay to join 12 orgs? Like I've been seeing that over Freedom Wall a lot of times. And I think my tip for them would be just join what orgs you think, like what's attractive for you, what you want to do. Like I think just really join, and from there, because you won't really know until you try it out. So once you're there, once you get in the org, then that's when you really explore the org more and see if it actually contributes to your growth, contributes to you as a person, if you stand with the org. And from there, I think that's where you'll really see if you'd stay or if you won't really, I mean, like what Nina said, don't ghost. But if you really don't want the org, then you cannot recommit naman the next year. So I think that's one thing. And I've been seeing also a lot of like apprehensions about being scared for the interviews, for the selection process, because for some orgs the selection process is really tedious, so they're scared. And for me, if it's for you, it's for you. So go for it. Take it. Try. I mean, there's no harm in trying. You won't lose anything. And if you don't get it, it's fine. You can try again next time. Or if you lose, don't lose hope. But if ever like you lose hope in the process of it, then you can try other orgs. There are a lot of orgs out there, and I'm pretty sure you'll really find the one for you. Wow, the one
for you.
Quotable quotes.
Pero to sum it up siguro din. Nina, would you like to add pa ba?
Yeah, actually, sorry. I just want to add also, because as people behind Go RecWeek, of course, we encourage a lot of people to join orgs, but also a lot of people say that they don't really feel like joining orgs right now, and that's also all right. You don't have to join an org if you don't feel like you're ready, if you don't really feel like you want to. It's not to say that you're missing out. It's certainly a good experience, but you don't have to do it just because everyone's doing it. So just to put that out there as well.
Yeah, siguro again, to sum it up, it's really, take your time to find where to plant your roots. Quotables din tayo.
Wow.
Nag-contribute din eh.
Quotables din no? Pero another quote that I got is, don't ghost your orgs. Period. Mga freshies, don't ghost your orgs, and anyone applying to organizations, don't ghost your orgs. And speaking of your orgs or your life, we want to get to know more of our mga ates and kuyas. Balik tayo doon para medyo maging wise sila sa pagsasagot. Magpa-fast talk po tayo. Some speed questions and getting to know more about you, our mga boss. So, first off, siguro we can start again with Nina, Bax, and Kristine. So, and 3, 2, 1, Zoom or Google Meet?
Zoom.
For sure.
Not even gonna think about it.
Medyo sad kasi medyo nawala na to. Si Groovy or Rhythm?
Oh my gosh, Groovy.
Groovy.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Groovy. Ito naman. It's a special question. Batch 1 but you can see your pre-enlisted classes or Batch 2 but you already have your pre-enlisted classes beforehand. Batch 1, hindi mo kita yung pre-enlisted classes mo, or Batch 2, kita mo yung pre-enlisted classes mo.
I think Batch 1.
Batch 2 ako.
Then you just prepare for everything.
Batch 1.
Yeah.
Batch 1.
Batch 1.
Deviant to this corner. I get naman why you want to be batch 1 or batch 2. Ito naman, live inside a fictional world or have the fictional characters live with you. Ay. Napapaisip po sila.
Live in a fictional world.
Yeah. Ang world natin ngayon sobrang hirap mabuhay.
That's true.
Alright.
Fictional world.
One COVID-free day or a very, very successful RecWeek?
Box.
Joke lang, syempre naman. I mean, I can explain. One COVID-free day para naging successful RecWeek. Diba?
One day
I think either way. I think with COVID or not, RecWeek will be successful. One COVID-free day.
Yes. Preparations talaga ang maximum natin dito. And, speaking of a very, very successful RecWeek, why don't you invite everyone to the upcoming RecWeek events and to join the different participating organizations for the second online setting of RecWeek?
So guys.
Take your pick po.
Ako na. I can begin. Hi guys, to the freshies, sophomores, juniors, seniors, transferees. RecWeek is around the corner and we are humbly inviting you to participate in our RecWeek event starting this Monday. Our team has prepared so much for you guys in this year's RecWeek, and I hope this is going to, we know this is going to be a success, but it won't be a success without your help. So aside from the events, don't forget to register to orgs that suit your ideas and advocacies for sure. So yeah, I think that's what I want to say now. So see you guys in RecWeek.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Kristine.
Yeah, so hi Athenian. So RecWeek is very near. It's on Monday, starts on Monday, September 6 to 18. And from next week, we'll be having the COA-led events. And from the week after next week, that's when you can start registering to your orgs that you really want to join. So again, like what we said earlier, don't be afraid. Try it out. And we'll know that it will be a very fulfilling experience. So yeah, we really shed a lot of tears. Joke lang. But we've really prepared so much for you. We've been working on this for months and we really hope that you, we again humbly ask you to participate and take part in this year's RecWeek because we have a lot in store for you and we really know that this will help you and contribute to your stay in Ateneo.
Alright, thank you, Kristine.
Parang nasabi na nila lahat, no? And so I guess just to wrap it all up on top of that, all the orgs have also been preparing for months to give you a great RecWeek experience and of course a whole year's worth of experience in each org. So, join orgs, join RecWeek. Again, don't go to your orgs. It's gonna be one of the greatest experiences in your college life. Whether you join an org or not, but yeah, so see you guys in RecWeek. It's next week and we really look forward to seeing you all in our different organizations.
Oh, and just to add, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add that we really have a lot of really great orgs here in Ateneo. And I'm really sure that you'll find the one for you and you'll find the home in them. So yes, we look forward to seeing you guys and enjoy RecWeek.
All right, thank you so much for that, everyone. And that has been the first episode of
Jhio.
this year's Kwentuhang MVP. Thank you so much to Boss Bax and Kristine, our lovely RecWeek 2021 project heads, and Boss Nina, our Vice President for Special Project, for joining us here today and walking us through the RecWeek preparations and experience. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who tuned in today's episode. And we hope to see you again for another round of meaningful conversations. And once again, I am your cutie patootie, who's a little bit fruity from 2BS Psychology, Jhio Camama, and this has been Kwentuhang MVP.
Thank you.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.